Hey guys, Steve over here, kind of video today. Right, so actually I've never made a video outside before, but that's due to the fact that now that I'm living in a uni house, I can't actually make videos indoors because everyone complains that I make too much noise when I'm talking. Because the best videos that I make are definitely the ones where I can complain about something, so I can shout and actually get my point across better. And I know a lot of people in the comments have said that I sound very monotone when I'm talking, and that I don't actually make a sound point enough because a lot of the time I can't shout, and that's just due to the fact that there's people around and they always question what the hell I'm doing. So you can always tell people that you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh, but at the same time it's much easier to just like try and find somewhere where you can get peace and quiet and do it. I mean, like Silent Enigma does it. He goes outside and does his videos, and it makes sense because you get to do your outside voice, so you don't actually have to, no one has to actually hear what you're doing, so it's much better that way. Anyway, today's video is to talk about Dragon Rulers. Now that I've played on Duel Network for a while, I still hate Duel Network. It's such a crap game. I'm serious. It's like it's the plague on this game. It's the worst thing. Like, I still have to deal with the worst people who just quit. Like, you know, you win game one and then they quit because they think they're not going to beat you, so they just don't bother and then they quit. And it's like you can't get good practice, because I'm practicing for YCS London and I know what I'm going to be playing against because I know what all of my friends are playing. I know what's just going to be there, so it makes sense that you practice against those certain decks so that when you play against them you know how to beat them. But I can't play against them because everyone on DN is a complete faggot. And that's the problem, it's like that. So anyway, one thing I wanted to say is that I know there's one Dragon Ruler variant which is proven to be the best variant. However, that being said, there are 3 different variants that you have to consider when you play against Dragon Rulers. So when people say, I'm playing Dragons, and you go, okay, is it Chaos Dragons? And then you go, oh no, it's Dragon Rulers. You go, okay, so you're playing meta. And then it's not just a matter of, oh, it's Dragon Rulers, it's actually what kind of Dragon Rulers do you play? And while they all have the same fundamental strategy, the differences in their playstyle mean that certain cards that you can play more effective than other cards. Like for instance, one thing is that I would say that there are 3 different variants. So there's the popular Dragoonity Dragon Rulers, which are by far the best one because of the fact that they kind of have more access to their extra deck on a more regular basis, so they have more outs to different things. There's also the Blue Eyes Dragon Rulers, which means that you can use White Stone of Legend and Blue Eyes as a draw engine to spam the hell out of trade-in and Cards of Consonance with Flamvell Guard and Corsica or Corseska or whatever it's called. You can win that way, so that's great. You can just, you know, banish your dragons after you've done the draw engine, so you've got tons of cards in hand and then you can just go for it. That's great. And then the last one is Dragon Ruler Plants. While it was good at the beginning of the format, I don't think it's seeing as much play as it used to, even though Dragon Ruler Plants is actually really decent because they have the ability to go into Drakasak and other rank 7s much more quickly and efficiently than the other variants. So if you're playing against a format which can't handle Drakasak, then generally going into Dragon Ruler Plants and playing Dragon Ruler Plants as opposed to the other 2 variants is probably going to be better in the long run. That being said though, Dragoonity Dragon Rulers can go into rank 7s very quickly. However, they do generally just go into like Crimson Blader really quick because they know that if they play against Dragon Ruler Plants, they spam the hell out of Card Trooper because they want to mill the Dandelions, they want to mill all their stuff, and it is a cost, so you've evaded Card Trooper, they still mill, so it's very good. It plays around Veiler, which is very good. And that's another point to make. Don't play Veiler. If you're playing a Dragon Ruler prominent format like this one, I would say to take out your Veilers out of the main. Pro Winston, he made a video talking about Blue Eyes White Dragon deck, and he was saying how it was really good and saying how this format requires you to play 3 Veilers. And at the same time, it makes a lot of sense because Dragoonity Dragon Rulers is the only one out of the 3 variants which actually gets hit hard by Veiler. Because if you let them get Ravine off, let's say it's first turn and they do Ravine, get Phalanx, dump Phalanx, get the Ducks, then they summon Ducks and they activate its effect, you Veiler, you do actually put a lot of pressure on them early because they can't actually do anything. They're just stuck with this monster and they can't actually do any Dragon Ruler stuff. They summon a Dragon Ruler and banish and stuff, then it requires them to have the right hand for that. So, you know, they can do that, but at the same time it's not really worth it. You might as well just hold back, and then it obviously opens them up to getting MST, their Ravine, getting their Ducks killed, and obviously they can banish the 2, you know, stuff like that. But generally Veiler is good against that build, so I understand where Pro Winston is coming from, but at the same time there are the other 2 variants which do not fall to Veiler as much. You can avoid Veiler in Plant Dragon Rulers due to the fact that Card Trooper is a cost, as I said, and there's no other cards in the deck which really need to get Veilered that hard. I mean, there's like Big Eye, which you could do, but that's, you know, it's not going to come around that often. They can actually tribute Drakasak to get around Fiendish Chain and stuff like that. So, but anyway, but Veiler in general is only really decent. It depends solely on the form and the kind of dragon rulers that you expect to play. Dragunity, the thing is though, is that I can't play Veiler because you cannot expect to play against one variant every single round. I expect to play all different free variants because the Blue Eyes White Dragon variant is kind of cheaper. It's the better variant to play because you don't necessarily have to go into rank 7s all the time. You can just beat down with Blue Eyes White Dragon, and you can actually be passive and just sit on a Maiden Advisor Blue. You can do a lot of stuff with the deck, and it is better that way. To it depends solely on what you expect to play. You can sort of like 2 Veilers, 2 Maxis, and side in the other 2. You know, if you want to do that, fine. But if you have any idea what you're playing against, then you can easily side and main accordingly. But at the moment, because they're very varied on what they do, but the end result is the same. You know, where they're going to beat you with like Dragon Rulers all the time. But at the same time, knowing what you're going to play against definitely does help you in the long run. So do not treat them all the same because they're very different in what they do. You know, they're the process that they do to get to where they do. You know, like Maiden Advisor Blue is a very weird card as opposed to playing the Dragunity variant. You know, you have to play it differently. You can't just attack it and then attack the Blue Eyes because they don't give a shit. So you basically have to find a way to get around Maiden Advisor Blue without negging yourself too hard and without giving them too many pluses. Anyway, that's it. The different Dragon Ruler variants are very interesting. I do like them a lot, and when I go to YCS London, I do expect to play the Dragunity variant. That's why I'm siding in 2 Veilers. And I could put a 3rd Veiler in the side, but I want to have room for Gozen Match, Imperial Iron Wall, Debunk, and Electric Virus. I want to have 2 of those in the side, and I want to have other space in my side for other matchups like Evil Swarm and stuff like that, because I know that they will probably appear because Evil Swarm is decent against every Dragon Ruler matchup. I do expect to play against those a lot as well, and that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I hope you guys like the fact that I'm doing it outside for once as opposed to just doing it next to my laptop. So if you guys like this, then definitely do comment down below, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and all that bullshit. Yeah, until next time guys, the Thetcglover is out.